motivated. We all need a little motivation. Money keeping her motivated. We all need a little motivation. Money keeping me motivated. We all need a little motivation. Money keeping her motivated. We all need a little motivation. Keep all the real niggas motivated. Keep all them little niggas motivated. Maybach 600, it drove her crazy. Sure they gon' do it, she motivated. I've been neglecting the rover lately. I've been neglecting the sober lately.
Welcome everyone to another Smooth podcast. I go by the name of Ray L. It's episode number 11 of the Smooth podcast, simply motivating others onward through hope. To the left of me, I have a long time friend, known me since I was a kid. And now we can kind of both watch each other, grow up in the business culture together. James Jackson, how you doing, man?
What's going on, man? I'm glad to be here, man.
First and foremost, before we step into your early life, I just want to give a shout out to the viewership. I also want to give a shout out to everyone that's supporting the podcast. I've been getting a lot of positive feedback, and a lot of people just kind of like stopping me through events and stuff like that. Like, man, like what you're doing is really dope and inspiring. So I appreciate all the positive feedback. Now on James.
Sure. Congrats on that too, man.
Yeah.
Definitely. Congrats.
Where were you born and raised?
Man, I was born in Memphis, man. Memphis, Tennessee. Born and raised. I'm a Southern boy. South Memphis to be exact. I lived in Memphis. I was like 8th grade, and then I left. And then I went to Chattanooga, Tennessee with my dad. My mom, she kind of felt like it was time for me to go live with my pops because, like, Memphis is rough. If you know anything about Memphis, it's not Disneyland. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, when I grew up in the heart of South Memphis, and we still own property and houses and stuff over there right now. So it was time for me to go. You know what I mean? So my dad had to kind of like mold me and show me some other things, and my mom wanted to keep me away from certain elements that it's easy to come by in Memphis. Every place has those same elements, but some cities it's just a lot easier to come across or come by certain things. You know what I'm saying? So, but I was born and raised in Memphis, man, and love my city still to this day. And and now I moved to the East Coast when I was going to school or whatever. So I've been up here now for a while, but I travel back and forth. I'm still, all the way Memphis, all the way.
Mm-hmm. And now, growing up in Memphis, like, was there like a heavy, like, for some reason, I always think there's like a heavy, like, musical thing going on down there. Like, did you experience that as a kid? Do out-of-towners kind of like make hoopla of the musical scene there, or like, how was it growing up?
I mean, Memphis has always been, like, truthfully, I think more so like lately, Memphis gets the respect that it, deserves.
Yeah.
But prior to that, Memphis has always been a city that, I mean, there's a lot of different musicians that come out of there. When you go all the way back to even like the Stax Museum, we're talking about like B.B. King, blues, different things like that. I mean, heck, even Elvis Presley. I own a house like right around the corner from, Graceland or whatever. It's a lot of different musical acts that are there. Then you fast forward to your 3 6 Mafia, Yo Gotti and all those guys, even Dolph, rest his soul. It's a lot of people, K. Michelle, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's tons and tons of folks that are from Memphis that people don't even know that, like, they're from Memphis. I mean, heck, even Drake, his pops is from Memphis. That's why, a lot of times he used to spend his summers there. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of culture and a lot of stuff that comes out of Memphis that people not even, like up on or didn't really realize. But I think like lately now, even when you think about the Moneybagg Yo, you know what I'm saying? You think about, all those different guys that are from Memphis, like it's getting its due justice now. You know what I'm saying? Like people recognizing it now. So, but music is part of Memphis for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's definitely part. Like, if you go to Memphis, like, I still, when I go home, I go down on Beale Street. Beale Street, is blocked off, just a bunch of bars, bands playing, different stuff like that in the street. You know what I mean? So you go down there, you drink, you walk around, you hang out, whatever. You have a good time. So, Memphis definitely, and even if you go outside of just that, like even, the gospel scene is huge in Memphis as well. So it's like all genres of music are in Memphis. Like it's definitely a big, music. Al Green, you know what I mean, is from Memphis too. He preaches. My mom goes to his church to this day sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a preacher now. And Barcades. I keep going on and on and on. All these are folks from like all the way back when to now. So like it's definitely a big music city. You know what I mean? So, but
And so you came to Rhode Island for college. What were you majoring in?
I came up here, restaurant management, man. I thought I wanted to be in the restaurant because that's what my dad did for like 30 years. So all I ever saw my dad do was like work in a restaurant. So every day, like he'd leave the house 6 o'clock in the morning. We wouldn't see him till like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. He'd come in and wake us up out of bed because he ain't seen us all day. He used to turn on music, bring home like, appetizers, stuff like that, whatever our favorites were. So we in the kitchen eating, he blast some music. That was his time to be like, okay, I haven't seen my kids all day long, but let me get in here and turn up real quick. You know what I'm saying? So
that's pretty cool though.
Yeah, it was dope. Like, it's like, and it's funny too, like now that I'm a father, like I don't care if I've been in like traveling and I come back and my kid is asleep, I don't care. Like waking her up, you know what I mean? Like daddy's here, like wake up, you know what I'm saying? She'll be all right, go back to sleep, because those are some of my like best childhood moments, you know what I'm saying? Like when you hear the key open up and he come in, you're like, y'all down there asleep? You know what I'm saying? And we're like, no, we run up the steps, you know what I'm saying? Like you're like, oh, okay, we get to turn up, So, but I thought I wanted to be in the restaurants because that's what I saw him doing. So I used to see him jump behind the counter, do everything that was needed in the restaurant. So I was like, that's what I want to do. So I did that, but then at the same time, my girlfriend in high school at the time, she was supposed to come to Johnson Wells too. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to Johnson Wells. She going to Johnson Wells, but then she backed out. But then my cousin was up here too, so I still ended up going. And I did the whole thing, and then it was time to do the internship, and they had me waking up at like 5 a.m, and just doing the most. And I was like, this ain't for me. Like, what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I was like, this ain't for me. Because a lot of them chefs, man, like, I don't know what the deal is, but like a lot of chefs, I think they were picked on. They was like, little or something. Because like some of these chefs, when you see them behind the scenes, like they some of the most like rude and arrogant people ever. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I can't be sitting here letting you talk to me any type of way about the mashed potatoes, bro. Like, it's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't got time for that. So I just knew it wasn't for me. So, I was like, it's all good, but I still know I wanted to be in management, but I was still trying to figure it out at the time. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but that passion wasn't there for me to like want to continue on and like cook and stuff like that. So.
Right. And now I guess we can kind of like fast forward to the time that, me and you met. This I can't even put a year on it, but it's probably when you started working at the cell phone store in the mall, around there, I would say. Yeah. So what year is that?
Shoot.
I know it seems like a lifetime ago, but
that was 0304. I would say like 0304 is like when I was in there. I used to have my little shirt and tie on, little penny loafers.
So now, were you just an associate? Were you managing the store?
Nah, I was just an associate, man. Like, honestly, my boy at the time, so like, long story short, I needed a job. So like, I thought I was going to go get a restaurant job. They didn't hire me. So I didn't like calling home for money and stuff like that, like asking my pops and my mom for certain stuff. Like, it just felt weird to me. So I just needed a job. So my boy, AJ, at the time, he was like, yo, I can get you a job in the mall. I was like, bet. He just said a job in the mall. So he was like, we sell phones. So I'm like, all right, cool. But he didn't tell me it was like one of them carts in the mall. So when I showed up, I'm like, all right, where the store at? You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's on the wheels.
Yeah, he like, it's right here. I'm like, wait, what you mean? Like, what, boy? I'm like, I'm not working here. And honestly, like, it was probably like working in that cart. It's probably one of the most scariest things ever, because like, they always say like to people, like to get in front of an audience and just talk is one of the, people fear that the most.
Right.
Being at that kiosk in front of people, it's the same thing. And then you have to stop people and tell them to like, yo, come here, excuse me, sir, ma'am, you have to do that on top of that. Like, it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? So like the first week, I'm like, ain't no way in hell I'm gonna stay over here.
And that's back when like Providence Place Mall was like flooded, like, on a daily basis, before online shopping for real. Like
the malls were still like popping, busy. And we were in there in the middle of the mall on the second floor trying to flag people down. And, it's funny too, because, like you get people cuss you out or, say all kind of crazy stuff to you, but you just had to keep it pushing.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and, we was making good money too. Because, in order to stand in the middle of the mall and be flagging random people down, you got to be making some good money.
Right.
At that time, for me, I remember the first check I had, it had a comma in it. I was gassed. I was like, what?
And now, is that all commission based? Like, how did that pay scale work?
So it was basically like either or. It was like you were guaranteed your hourly rate, but if your commission outweighed your hourly, then you got your commission. So it was like the either or. So like you still get your hourly, but you went there basically to sell.
So say if you sold, at that time, say if you sold a sidekick or something like that, like what % of that deal would you get as commission?
So we just made like a flat rate. So like if we sold a phone, you make like $80. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So you sold 10 phones, $800, Oh,
so you had to be selling some phones to get a stack then.
Yeah. So like, I think it was the first time I actually like sold a little something, and I was like, okay, I think my check might have been like $1,500. But at that time, like I'm still in college, so I'm gassed. I'm like, yo, this is what's up. I'm like, I haven't seen this amount of money at one time. So I go to the bank, to cash my check. I'm feeling good. You know what I'm saying? Like I haven't seen that before. So, that was the first taste of money that I had for myself that I earned. You know what I'm saying? And it was from like sales. It was like, that was the first taste of it that I had. I'm like, wait, people really making money doing this, huh?
Right.
That was the first taste, man. And then that kind of like led me to wanting a little bit more, or paying attention, if you will. And I stayed there for a little while up until this guy named Paul Nolan, he came, sat down with me, and he challenged me and was like, yo, his exact words are, you can do better, you bullshitting. And I'm like, but the way he said it to me, he challenged me in a way that I got up from that table that day and I started to take the job even more seriously. And, he showed me his paycheck. I remember his paycheck was like $20,000. And we sitting in the food court in the mall, man. And, he showed me his paycheck. It was $20,000. And he's like, you could be making this. I was like, say no more.
Show me the way.
Yeah.
Show me the way.
Say no more.
All right. So, you're working in the mall. And now is there a gradual step? Like, are you a manager and then you become an owner, or how does that work?
So like, I was working for a company, and then the company they ended up firing me. So they ended up firing me because somebody used my code to discount a phone. So they were like, it's your fault, right? So it was like a sidekick or something back in the day, and he discounted it to free or something like that. So they didn't like me anyway, to be honest with you. But it was one particular guy. But nonetheless, after that company ended up selling anyway. So they were only around for like another 3 months, if you will, which we already knew that anyway, that they was,
on the way out.
Yeah, on the way out. So they let me go early. So at the time I was going through like a breakup, and I actually left Rhode Island, drove home on my 20-inch rims, which don't suggest anyone to do that. I drove from Rhode Island to Memphis, man, at the time, and I wasn't coming back. I was just like, man, I'm straight. Because I was like, going through my own emotional stuff, whatever. So I was like, it's time to go back home. And, I ended up coming back. And when I came back, my best friend, I'm sleeping on his couch. So I'm laying on his couch, but I'm trying to figure it out. You see what I'm saying? And then once I just decided to, say, you know what, bet on myself, I called my uncle and asked him for a loan. So I was broke, didn't have money, but I had the aspiration to be like, you know what, it's time to do my own thing. because I felt like the success that I had working for them, that was from me. So it wasn't from what I was being taught per se. All of it, a lot of it was from me.
Experience.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So I was like, it's time for me to like do this on my own. So I went to everyone, and everybody said no. You know what I'm saying? All the companies. But then at the time, Metro was just now coming to the East Coast. So they were like letting people in. So I was like, all right. And then I found the first location, and I was nervous and scared because I'm like, you know, getting a location, like you renting it out. Okay, now it's yours. So now it's like, all right, what's next? So got the first location.
So real quick, you asked your uncle for a loan.
Yep.
And then use that loan to buy into Metro PCS's first location in Rhode Island, which is the store in East Providence.
Yep.
Which is down the street from us, which is, you know, I'm actually a little jealous. I need to own something in EP. But that's really dope. So now I want you to answer this question honestly. Did you get into Metro PCS because they needed people to come into their business and they were kind of the ones that said yes to you? Or did you see how things were changing and was like, oh man, no, this shit's gonna blow up?
It was a little bit of both, but at the time it was more so they said yes. But then at the same time, once I got in, I'm like, okay, the bill is $40, $50, $60, taxes included. I'm like, okay, the service at first, it was crappy. I had it myself, but then it went from that to like, oh, wait, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm working everywhere I go now. You see what I'm saying? So then I'm like, why would people want to continue to spend $200, $300, $400, $500 at the time, especially back then, you know, on a cell phone bill? So it was like, I felt like people were going to start to, you know, wisen up, if you will, and be like, there's no need for me to spend a car note, you know what I'm saying, for my cell phone bill when I can just be spending $40, $50, $60. That's how I felt. So, but it was them saying yes, but then it was also like, this makes sense. You know what I mean? So it was like, it was both of them.
Was there any kind of like pushback, being, you know, not only the first owner of a Metro PCS in Rhode Island, but being black? Was there any pushback with that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, like, look, you're going to deal with that for certain. Here's the thing. Like, that's a good question, too, because, like, you do deal with that whole, you know, racism type of stuff or whatever you want to call it, right? But at the same time, it's not something that's out there to stop you from still getting in the game. You see what I'm saying? There's so many people that don't even get in the game because they're like, oh, this person that, this person this. You see what I'm saying? Or because I'm black or I'm, you know, Spanish this, whatever, minority, period. You see what I'm saying? And there's even the thing of reverse racism too to some people. You know what I'm saying? In certain in situations. But like, do you deal with it? Yeah. I mean, I've been in East Providence with customers in the store. You know, I'm gonna get you fired. You know what I'm saying? Calling me every name in the book. And I just stand there like, okay, you know what I'm saying? But like, you deal with it, but at the end of the day, it wasn't gonna stop me from doing nothing. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't gonna stop me. You know, so like, I still gotta do what I gotta do. You see what I'm saying? So, but you know, again, a good question, because a lot of people will just not get in the game because of it. But it's like, yo, they'll be all right. There's racist folks that then bought all kind of stuff from me. I don't care. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. But like, you know, it and then in reverse, there's a lot of people that was like supporting me because of that. They were like, yo, we want to see more people like you in the business. So like, there are certain people that like, you know, took an extra, you know, 15, 20 minutes out their day to have a conversation with me and tell me A, B, and C. You know what I mean? Hey, stay away from that. Don't do this, and so on and so forth. So at the same time, you know, there was people that looked out too.
Right.
You know?
Right. That's what's up. And so, okay, you open the store in East Providence, and now is it a smash off top or?
Hell no. no. Like, no. Like, no. Like, bro, like we were sitting there and, crickets, like literally crickets. Like, I mean, like, no one was in. And I remember one day I was watching TV on the computer or whatever, eating a little pizza and, just kind of like just looking out the window like, And I remember I had an epiphany that day. And there was a customer that came in, ended up buying a phone. I just ordered pizza, fresh, hot pizza. And when I finished with the customer, it's cold now. So I'm like, dog, pizza cold now? And then I had an epiphany right then and there. I was like, wait, you worry about your pizza being cold? You just sold a phone to somebody. Did you get in the business so you can eat pizza and watch TV behind the counter? That honestly is the day where a lot's changed for me as an owner. So that day, I went out and bought a purple gorilla suit. It was a purple gorilla suit because the colors were purple for Metro. Yep. I threw that sucker on the next day, went outside on the corner, started waving at customers. People blowing their horns.
So let's get this straight.
Yeah.
You were your own mascot.
Yep, sure was.
And now a lot of people would view, the people outside, sometimes, they'll get people that, are homeless, that kind of position and stuff like that. But you knew that you needed to change something within yourself and value your business more than what you were valuing at, and needed customers by any means necessary, and was willing to put on a damn near Barney suit to get the job done.
Facts. Because like at the end of the day, what we here for? Like, if you're not willing to do whatever for yours, then how do you expect to be successful? You see what I'm saying? So if it meant putting on a Sesame Street, Big Bird, any type of suit, that's what I was going to do. But I had to wake up. So like when I put that on, I'm outside just waving at folks. I went around, passed out flyers in it. I did whatever I needed to do because it was like, we didn't open this up just to like, be chilling. We got to go for hours. So what are you willing to do that the next one's not willing to do? And I'm like, I bet you they won't put on this suit, but I will. You see what I'm saying? I bet you they won't walk around in this, but I will. So that's what I had to do. And then we went from like having no customers really to like, it was about a week and a half later. I'm sitting in the store and I'll never forget it. I'm sitting in the store, my head was down and I was helping a customer do something. Both doors are open, the front and the back door, so I couldn't hear the little chime. But when I looked up, it was like 10 people looking at me. This was like a week and a half later after me being outside in the suit. And it was probably 4 or 5 people that were like, who was in the suit? They were laughing or whatever the case may be. I'm like, I don't know, some guy, whatever the case may be. Or some of them, I'm like, it was me. And then they're like, no, it wasn't. I'm like, yeah, it was me. But if it wasn't for that moment and that putting that suit on and basically breaking down all those mental barriers, if you will, like, I don't know if we'd be here today.
So on my podcast, my podcast is like strictly to motivate people. And so, I've been having this battle within myself, but, I hope that you can be transparent with numbers and, tell me amounts and things of that nature. So how much was the loan that you received from your uncle?
He gave me $15,000.
$15,000. Okay. Yep. And now, was there any stress on if you were going to be able to pay that back before you put on the suit?
Absolutely. He wanted back his money right away, but I had already spent almost $10,000, so I gave him what wasn't spent, and he had very good reason to be nervous because he's like, what's your game plan? What are you doing? You know what I mean? So, and I didn't know what the heck I was doing, you know what I'm saying? But like, I spent the money, 10,000 of it, and once I spent the 10,000, I'm like, wow, like there's still so much to do, you know what I'm saying? So, but I was definitely like worried a little bit, but I knew I was going to give it back to him. You know what I'm saying? And then, obviously I ended up paying him back, but, started with $15,000, man. Then I had like a few thousand of my own. That's how I started.
And so, okay, now, the first store is getting some motion. Now, here's kind of like another leap of faith, right? Because you could have been cool with just one store popping. You paid your uncle back.
Yeah.
You're making some money now. Cool. How far after you opened that first one did you end up opening a second one?
The first year, I think we had 3 stores. First year, I think it was.
And how was it? And how are they funded? How are you?
So I took the money from the first store and put it into
The profit.
the second store.
Okay.
But then the second store I opened was the wrong store, and it was too soon. So
Explain that.
because the first store had profits, so I went and opened up the second store, but it was the wrong location. So everything I was making over here
You're like losing it.
is
kinda.
losing it over here, right? So now I'm like, yo, this crazy. So now I'm like back at square one. So then what I ended up doing was I went back to my roots. So my third location was a mall. So I went to the mall and was like, all right, I know how to stop random people in the mall. So I couldn't go get a loan from a bank. So I could go get a loan for myself, technically. Because I know if you stick me in the mall, I'm going to stop people. I'm going to make them buy. So I needed to increase the revenue by selling more. So I went to the mall. And then I worked for like 31 days straight, from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. for 31 days straight. But that cash that was coming in from what I was doing helped all 3 of the stores stay afloat. So we were able to still pay everything and get things moving in the right direction again. And then I ended up going to open up the 4th location. So like in the first like year and change, we had like 4 stores. So my whole process was, hey, just take the profits, put it back in the business. Take the profits, put it back in the business. And that's what we did.
And now, obviously, with 4 stores, you have like other managers and things of that nature. How did you go about, like, what was the hiring process like for these other people? Because, like, you kind of, you started off as an associate, you worked your way up to, managing and stuff like that. So what qualities were you looking at for individuals? 'Cause I'm sure you were trying to look at individuals that reminded you of yourself when you were an associate.
Nah, I was just looking at people who would give me a chance and trust me, because you got to keep in mind, at that time, I'm just now starting out. So it's not easy to get somebody to come and work with you. But then I did have some people that trusted me. I had some people that worked for me, in the previous company. Then, my best friend Mike, my sister was up here. She was, willing to do whatever too. Shout out to all of them, especially the people in the beginning that was just like, okay, I believe in you. I'll take a chance with you. You see what I'm saying? So we had to have some folks that wanted to take that ride with me, and like, hey man, pay me what you can pay me. You know what I'm saying? So we had some of those in the beginning, and then obviously as we began to grow, then it was a little bit easier to like bring on people. But I had guys that honestly that used to work for me with the other company. They was like, okay, I believe in you, so I'll come help you. You know what I mean? So I definitely had some of that in the beginning.
And now, you have 4 stores. Your most amount of stores, how many were you owning at once, and how many states were they in?
At our peak, I think we had about I'm gonna say 80 locations. We had about 80, and we were Tennessee, Georgia, Arkansas. We were in Omaha, Connecticut, Mass, Rhode Island, and I think I said Georgia. I think we were in Alabama.
And what made you go to different states? Was that just like, a rite of passage of like, okay, I have enough stores here?
Some of it was that, and then it was like new markets opened up. So if a new market opened up and you was able to get your foot in it, cool. But then there was also certain markets that were like, like gravy markets. They were making a lot of money, so you wanted to get a door or two in those markets too. So but in the beginning, I had to, take what I could get, because I didn't come into it like a lot of other dealers did. They was already rich, loaded with money.
So as an owner, of the profit, how much were you able to put in your pocket for each store?
I mean,
Like percent wise, not amount, but like percent wise.
for me, it wasn't really like that because for me, we were self funded, so I didn't have bank loans and so on and so forth. So when money came in, it was never like, we take this off the table. It was always put it back in. So I wasn't really even operating the company, to be honest with you, like that. Like the first time I knew, like the company grew was based on just the inventory that we were ordering, right? So we went from ordering inventory of, let's say it was, for the week, 2,000-3,000. Then it went to like 5,000-10,000. You see what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, we moving. I looked at and judged the business based off things like that. Like we could order more phones, So money wasn't really in the bank. I always kept the money in product instead. Because if it's in product, you got to sell it.
And so are you just paying yourself a salary at this point?
Nah, I wasn't paying
Like how are you
myself.
living? Like
I like anything that was like my car. I didn't really have a lot of bills. You know what I'm saying? So outside of my car note or whatever, and like I said, I was living with my living on the couch. I was living on the couch even when the store was open. I was sleeping on Mike's couch, just chilling, or whatever. But he knew what I was doing. I wasn't taking advantage of him, but he was like, okay, he's just trying to stack up. I would pay people before I paid myself. You see what I'm saying? So if it came down to it, long as I got some money to eat, long as I'm, straight, then I make sure this person is paid or that person's paid.
Yeah.
So I didn't really honestly start taking money out of the company till probably like 2 years in or something like that. Then I put myself on payroll, but in the beginning, like I wasn't concerned with that. Long as the bills is paid, you know what I'm saying? Because like, look at it like this. When we first opened up, I didn't even have the money to put down a deposit to turn the gas on in the store. So I don't have $500 to do that. I'm not worried about me. I'm just making sure that the store is doing what it's got to do.
right.
I ain't care about myself. Long as we good or whatever we eating, it's all good.
So yeah, you talk about, being a millionaire, and I think something that's gonna help me out a lot is I developed this thing where I keep myself broke. And what I mean by that is I have my real estate in my real estate account, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that account has, certain amount of money, 5 figures, whatever. But I don't consider it my money. I consider it real estate money, everything in real estate, boom. I have my events account. I don't consider it my money. I consider it my events account.
Mm-hmm.
My checking account, where, my 9 to 5 will go and things of that nature. I take at least half out every other week. I put it in a savings and I invest a couple hundred, with a financial firm. So what that does is when I look at my checking, I have $2,000, and whatever cash I have on hand,
Right.
and that's how I'm kind of living. So in reality, I have more, but
Right.
to me, I'm like, nope, I only have this, and that's it. And it sounds like just on a bigger scale, that's what you did.
100%. And like what you just kind of broke down is like I used to tell people all the time. They go, "You own the company." I go, "No, I work for the company." Because like you can get crazy.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So like even to your point, like yeah, that's how you're supposed to do it.
Right.
So like even all those separate accounts, you can take dividends if you want to from those accounts because you had a good whatever. All right, let me pull this out. You know what I'm saying? Because you're supposed to reward yourself at the same time. But like keeping it like that is good. So it's like my company's like, yeah, I'll draw a salary from different companies. You know what I mean? I may get 3 paychecks from 3 different companies, but like at the end of the day, I treat myself like an employee,
Right.
not to get all, crazy and, start doing whatever.
And now, so he said companies, right? So as if owning 80 Metro PCSs wasn't enough. He's also in the trucking business. Do you want to touch on how you got into that?
Yeah. So the trucks, we wanted to get into the business for a while. Like, I was thinking about it. So what happened is when COVID happened, everything kind of shut down. So I wanted to have a company that was like, COVID proof. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that was crazy in itself. But like, so the trucks, I was like, let's do it. So then my brother-in-law had been a truck driver for like 28 years. And I called him and I was like, hey, I think it's time. So I bought the first truck. The first truck was like, I think we paid like $7,000 for it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just sitting, you know what I'm saying? But it was like, all right, we bought the first truck. So then he called me. We bought 2 more trucks. So we had 3. But I don't even think we had really pulled any loads or did anything yet. So he was driving at first because he was like, look, I'm making these guys money. I'd rather make you the money. So I'm like, all right. But I wasn't like really paying attention to the business yet.
Mm-hmm.
So then I went out and bought 10 more trucks. So now we have 13 trucks. Now I'm paying attention a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, we got 13 trucks. Then we went out and got 20 more trucks. So then, now we had.
And now how are you acquiring the money to spend on these trucks?
Well, I mean, the company had money, you know what I mean? So like, we've been in business for years now. So I was able to leverage or, just go in my own pocket.
So you're able to leverage one business and put it into another?
Correct.
Okay.
So like the thing is, the reason that we actually were able to get, as many trucks as we had and start off is because I already had a company. So what they looked at was you're a business man, right? So we'll give you A, B, C, or we'll let you get this because like it's not easy. Like say if you start in the trucking game right now, some guys can't even get trailers. You know what I'm saying? Like women, guys, some of them, they can't even get a trailer. If you can't get a trailer, what you gonna do?
But the banks or, whatever firms kind of loaned you money saw your business acumen from the stores and was like, okay, we can trust this guy with these loans.
Well, they didn't loan me money. What they did was like, even like for an example, like say you walk into a dealership right now and you have money, right? They still may not let you finance a truck unless you're buying it outright, right? Or if they do let you finance a truck, they like charging you crazy rates. Like trailers. Just because you want to go get a trailer, they have to look at your business history to give you a trailer. You see what I'm saying? So I had to talk to these people and say, look, yeah, I don't have a history, but I have a history of building a company. You see what I'm saying? I had to show them like my tax returns and different things like that. So then they would back up and be like, okay, you see what I'm saying? Like, all right, we'll let you get this. Or when you go in there and you're like, okay, let me get these trucks. See, my first 15 trucks, I bought them all cash. So there was no notes, there was no nothing. Then the next set of 20 that I went and purchased, I think I put down like, I don't know, like 300,000-400,000 or something like that. And then we got the rest of the trucks. So, and then everything else that I bought after that, they was all just purchased cash,
So currently, how many trucks do you have?
Right now we have 40 trucks right now. We have 40 trucks right now. Yeah, we have 40 trucks, and it's been a learning curve. You know what I'm saying? Like the trucking game is not an easy game, but it's a very lucrative game. Like there's a lot of money to be made in the game. Like to be honest with you, what we've done in 2 years, and we've lost a lot of money because we had to learn a lot at the same time. But like now, like even today on the way here, like we had a lot of contracts. They just now hit, but these contracts are like multi-million-dollar contracts that, I had to, wait on them to come in. We had to like just keep taking losses and doing certain things and learning the business. And then now they're finally here. So it's putting the company in a completely different, limelight, if you will. And it's also taking care of a lot of other people too. So like, by this time next year, we'll probably have 100 trucks or so, on the road. You know what I mean? Because like same thing I did with the stores, when there's money's coming in, like I'm comfortable with it now. Like millions, I'm comfortable with it now. like it doesn't scare me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not excited by it either. You see what I'm saying? So it's like both of them, like, you know, excitement, too much excitement can kill you. Being afraid of it can kill you too. So it's like, I'm comfortable now. So it's like, okay, like I know what to do with it. Like, so now I can take the cell phones. We could take the trucking business. You know, we have some real estate plays and stuff right now. And then we also have, which are not launched yet, but we're looking into some franchises from food. So I'm trying to build a ecosystem, right? So these different companies, you know, they should be generating $100 million a year. So that's what the goal is right now. That's what I'm doing and placing bets, if you will, betting on myself, you know, and a lot of people that's, you know, working with me right now. That's what I'm doing. So with the 225 or 250 employees that I have right now that work for, you know, the companies, you know, I'm trying to continue to grow. You know what I'm saying? But then at the same time, you know, enjoy life too. But, you know, the trucking game is very lucrative. You know, I was able to reach back off a lot of things that I had did in the wireless industry, in sales in general, and I was able to apply it in the trucking game. So, you know, it's exciting, man. Like, you know, like I said, before I came here, we're starting a new contract today. It's exciting. Everybody's excited, and you know, it's very, very lucrative. You know, like I said, it's like the money come in fast.
Yeah,
like real fast.
And you know, I always, you know, in my friend circles and people that might know me, you know, they see me, they're like, man, like, you know, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing this. And I think, you know, a big part of that is because, you know, I've been looking up to people like you since I was a teenager. And it's like, yeah, like, you know, I have people around me that are doing just amazing things. And one thing I can tell everyone out there, like, you know, a couple things actually. One, I feel like you can use people as mentors and look up to people that don't have to put anything in your pocket. Right? Like, I never asked James for money. I never was like, yo, like, bro, like, I'm on my ass right now. I need this. This is like, you know, even me coming home from college and, you know, really being low. Like, I never asked for $1. Like, whenever we go out, split it equal. Like, you know what I'm saying? Besides the boat in Miami, he took care of that. He did take care of that. I ain't gonna lie for the podcast. But you know, for someone that's, you know, like high achieving and, you know, is a high earner, do you notice that about certain people that like, oh, I can count on him to kind of like say whatever, be whatever, like it's not about the money, he doesn't ask me for nothing, so I know if he hits me up it's just generally for my company, like
like you definitely know. Like, I mean, like I have people like, you know, when the phone ring, I might pick it up and be like, you know what I'm saying, put it back down because you already know what that person on. Then you got some people that it ain't even on that. You know what I'm saying? Like some of my friends that are successful, but you know, there's different levels of success.
Yeah.
What my level of success is may be chaos and stress to somebody else. That's not success to them.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So like, don't get me wrong. Everybody wants to be comfortable financially.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like even when people be like talking about some, you know, like money isn't everything, and it's not. But look, I know people that's sad and broke and sad and got money. I'd rather have money and be sad if I'm gonna be sad. You see what I'm saying?
100%.
So like, you know, I you know, cry with some money in my pocket, dry my face with some $100 bills or something. But like at the end of the day, it's not everything. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But like people that you bring in your circle, they just need to be authentic.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like everybody that's around you is not for you. So like, you know, my circle is very, I know a lot of people, but like I don't mess with everybody.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And then some people I've known for years. Some people I've just known like short term recently. You see what I'm saying? And real recognize real. It is what it is. So like, you know, there are definitely people you can look at and be like, you know, and then there's some people that's just like, they don't want nothing from you. But, and then to be honest with you, there's times where even I talk to you or I might talk to someone else and I get things from everybody. You see what I'm saying? Like, I learn from you. I pick up stuff from everybody. So I'm always observing. I'm always picking up whatever I can pick up all the time from any and everybody. You know what I'm saying? But who you have around you is very important. You know, you have to have the right circle of people around you, you know, to motivate you, to check you if you need to be checked, you know. But, you know, that is important.
All right, well, we're going to step into a little section that I call this or that question. So I'm going to say this or that, and you kind of just give me an answer and a brief description on why you chose that answer.
Okay.
Hot or cold?
Weather? What we talking?
Blanket statement, hot or cold?
Cold.
Would you rather be loved or respected?
Loved.
And why is that?
Because if they love you, they're going to respect you eventually anyway. So.
ATL or Miami?
ATL. That's the Wakanda, for real. Like, that's Wakanda.
If you could choose one, trucking or the phone company?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Because we wouldn't be here without the wireless, but the trucking is going to take us into the future. So it's a tough one. I don't know how to answer that one. So, I mean, I had to say, I guess the wireless because we wouldn't be here. So I'll say wireless.
This next section is smooth or not smooth. So you tell me, you know, I'm going to say a statement. You say if it's smooth or not smooth. $300 first dates.
I guess it's smooth. You know, if you could do it and she worth it or he worth it, it's smooth.
Okay.
It's all good.
Surgery, abs.
Abs. Surgery or abs. You know, abs is cool. Like, abs is smooth. Like, yeah, abs.
Surgery, abs.
Oh, surgery, abs? I thought you said surgery or abs.
No.
That way I wasn't even thinking about surgery. Nah, that's definitely not smooth. Like, hell no, not smooth.
All right. Splitting rent with your significant other.
I mean, you know, hey, you know.
Give it up.
I mean, I guess it's smooth because, like, at the same time, you know, it's a lot of women that's, you know, they independent and they want to, you know, so I guess it's smooth.
All right.
Here's my thing, but it's smooth.
Yeah. Here's my last set of questions. Who are your two best friends?
You know, Mike, you know, my brother from another mother, he was there in the very, very, very beginning, you know, like helping me paint everything. And then, you know, like, I mean, I have a few best friends, and then I have to say my pops.
Okay. So if I go up to Mike and I go up to your pops and I say, what does James need to work on the most? What would each one tell me?
My pops would probably tell you, he'd probably tell you I hold things in, you know. Mike could probably tell you, he would probably say I don't listen to him. That's probably what he say.
And when it's all said and done, how would you like to be remembered?
You know, when it's all said and done, you know, especially over the next like 5 to 10 years, it's just somebody who took it out the mud, basically. Somebody who is gonna, you know, share and give the blueprint to others too. Because, you know, your success isn't just judged on what you do, but just your success should be judged on how many other people are successful, you know, because of you,
100%.
because of what you have done or given them. So that's what I would hope, that a lot of people is like, yeah, I'm here because of, you know, James.
Now, for somebody out there who's just hit a big failure, they don't kind of know what to do, or they need help getting back on the right path, you know, they're kind of deterred from what they want to do. What's some motivational kind of advice that you can give the person to kind of steer them back on the right path?
I've been broke 2-3 times, and then I've been a millionaire again 2-3 times. And the reason that I say that is because we all go through stuff. You see what I'm saying? And no matter what you're going through, if in a lot of cases, if somebody was to take your problems and switch them, you probably want yours back. You see what I'm saying? So, like, don't get stuck on the situation that you're in. Just focus and control what you can control, first of all. Don't get caught up in complaining about, don't spend too much time and energy into what you don't have and what you wish you could do. Because while you doing that, it's other people in your same situation that just focusing on what they can control and they steady making progress. You see what I'm saying? So don't get caught up in that. Like, we all going through stuff.
Right.
We all are waking up some days and don't want to keep fighting, don't want to keep doing what we got to do. But, anything worth having, you got to fight for it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So struggles, it's okay to struggle. You see what I'm saying? Because struggle makes you stronger. So, like, it's just not giving up is when it's a problem.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Outsource, like, use your resources, talk to people. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that want to help you and give you advice and different things like that. But I mean, if you just moping around and, how is somebody supposed to give you the game that you're looking for?
Right. Well, I want to thank you for coming to the podcast, man. It's been a pleasure. I hope a lot of people out there learned something today, and definitely appreciate.
Hey, man, like, thanks for having me, man, and congratulations to you, man. Like, this is dope. What you're trying to bring out there to people, something positive, motivational, but then at the same time, just keeping it real, you know what I'm saying? Because that's how you are. But, like you said earlier, I've seen you, like, just grow in the industry, this industry, your events, like, all the stuff that you do, like, you wear a lot of different hats. So, you definitely setting an example for a lot of people out there. So, keep doing your thing, man. Like, I know this is going to keep blowing up, getting bigger and bigger, the whole 9 yards. So, this is dope, man. I'm glad to be here. I really appreciate that.
Sir, I'll check you guys later.